Alright, so this is actually my second attempt at this. I tried to start a video a while ago and it went sideways. The whole thing went sideways. Be honest with you, I broke the fucking tap off in it. So I see a lot of posts about broken starter bolts. Over on the 6.2, 6.5 page, I've seen one on the 8.1 page. The first thing that everyone says is it's junk, throw the block away. So I've got this old 305 block, just a pile of junk. Getting ready to go to the scrapyard actually. And I figured, alright, I'll try to shoot a video. And of course it, again, went friggin' sideways. And probably because I was just using a MIG welder. Usually when I do a stick welder, I don't have this kind of problems. So, anyway, here's what I do. So what I'd done is I'd cut this bolt hole off. Oh, you know, they usually break out about halfway across the hole and kind of at a diagonal across here. Whatever, they break out all kinds of ways. So what I do is I take a piece of carbon rod and I will thread the carbon rod in what is left of the hole. Okay, everybody's like, where the hell you get to that carbon rod at? Well, I'm getting there. So I screw that carbon rod in what's left of the hole. And what I should have done on this one was made my carbon rod, because these holes actually are not threaded all the way up. Okay, they're actually about probably a 1/4 inch down is where the thread starts, because these bolts actually sink down in the hole to right there. Okay, what I should have done was made my carbon rod just like this bolt. Threaded down here, larger shank here. I was just trying to make a damn video to help everybody, and it just went friggin' haywire. So whatever. You didn't see me weld. No big deal. So anyway, where do I get the carbon rod? Well, that right there. That's a carbon arc gouging rod. You can tap these damn things or die them down to the size you need. What I should have did was just made one. Again, I was just trying to make a video. I was just trying to make a video to help folks out. Because, again, people say, oh, it's junk, throw it away. Well, that's not really a good idea for everybody, or at least not, financially feasible for everybody. Hell, I've been there. I got 6 kids. Trust me, I've been there. I've fixed a lot of shit that shouldn't have been fixed. What I did was cut this hole off flush, and then I took my cutoff wheel and I scored it this way, and I scored it this way, and I scored it across here with a 4-inch grinder, 4.5 inch grinder cutoff wheel. Okay, and then I screw that carbon bolt down in there, and I welded around it. Okay, I started at the bottom here, and I welded around it. I try not to keep, like for the MIG, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're doing this with a MIG, try not to get as much puddle on the carbon rod. That really tends to make things difficult. Okay, so I did my weld, and then I take and drill out the carbon rod. Again, if you mess the hole up, and as long as you got enough threads left, you can start over. You can grind it back off. I had to do this. This is my second weld on this. I actually had to grind out a tap that I broke off in there. And then I had to find another tap. I don't have many taps here at the house. They're at work. So I've been a mechanic for all my life. I'm 45 years old. Been a mechanic my whole life. My dad was a mechanic. I'm a machinist. Redneck shit if I have to, only if it's mine, or bad circumstance. So anyway, what I did with this one was I just tried to be fast about it, and I tried to use the Miller-Matic. It did great the second time, not so much the first time, because what happened was I did not have my carbon bolt shaped like this, and what it did was it built this out into the hole to where I couldn't get a tap in it. So I ended up having to try to tap it from the bottom side, and then I broke the tap off. You know, trying to tap weld sucks. I know there's porosity there. Again, it's a junk block. I don't give a shit. Even my second time, when I had my carbon bolt in there, I had issues. Once I drilled it out, I had issues, and I had to take a burr bit, and I had to burr bit this side. I had to burr bit this side back and get it right where a tap would go down it. Okay. Again, I have fixed many holes. I did when I was running my LS, doing my LS swaps. I used to get these. I used to get these LS heads all the time. I used to buy the 243s and the 799s. This is back in like 2012 when they were really popular. I know now there's like the 823s or whatever they are. Anyway, I used to get these LS heads in, and I'd buy them for $100 for a set, sometimes $200 if they were that good. And I've had them to where they broke a tap off in it, or an easy out. And I've had to actually go in and take a I've got a picture somewhere of one I did. What I ended up having to do is take a die grinder with a small burr bit, and I had to eat around that bolt and that broke off easy out and work that thing out of there. Then what I did was I drilled and tapped that hole to 1/4 inch pipe, and then I made a 1/4 inch pipe plug, pipe bolt basically, with pipe threads on it out of aluminum, and I screwed that sucker in there. Well, the problem was it was so bad that there was actually some stuff off to the side where they had drilled to the side, and of course I had to eat it out with a burr bit to get that tap or easy out of there. So I ended up having to go over here and make a 3/8, and beside that one, drilled it, tapped it to 3/8 16, did it over here, cut them off smooth, laid a manifold on there, and I drilled in the center of that, close to the center of that pipe plug that I had made in there. Worked great, no problem. I've had this happen on 3406 Cats. They're pretty prone to breaking exhaust manifolds. I actually had one time where I had to go to 5/8. I turned it out, tapped it out to a 5/8 bolt. I run the 5/8 bolt in with an impact, cut it off flush. I put my drill plate up there. I've got a cheater plate that I bolt to the heads, and I can drill the holes where they're supposed to be. And I drilled in the vicinity it needed to be in that bolt that I put in there. It lasted forever. I mean, it never failed. I knew the guy for quite a long time. So those people that say it's junk or whatever, it's not always true. That's the first conclusion everybody wants to jump to, is that it's junk, and it's not. This here would actually last for a long time, especially if the knuckleheads would use the friggin' starter support bracket. There wouldn't be anything wrong with using this. That screws in fine. You know, you might have to finesse it with a burr bit. You might have to do it over. You might have to grind the son of a bitch and do it over. I mean, I'm hitting that pretty good with a hammer, and it's not breaking. That's pretty good hitting. That's not going anywhere. I hit it hard enough to bend the friggin' bolt. Okay, so if you did this, could you do this in chassis? Yeah, probably. The best way to do it, in my mind, would be a TIG welder. Which, I mean, I do have a TIG, but I didn't want to set it all up and go through all that shit. You know, the best way to do it would be a TIG welder and a nickel rod. Like, even a stick rod with the flux knocked off of it should probably work. I've never tried it. You know, you could probably TIG braze it. TIG braze it would probably be good. You could even torch braze if you wanted to torch braze it. Most people don't want to put all kind of heat off into an engine that's together. So you can save them. And like I said, this is just MIG. This is just friggin' regular old spool of wire. I don't even know what it is. It's just hard as woodpecker lips wire once it's, you know, once it's on there. And like I said, I've had to do this twice just to make this damn video. I don't know why, but I just did it. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. I've got these damn carbon bolts laying around everywhere that I've had since 2012, 14, and they're a pain in the ass to make. You can see that they will fall out. They just suck to make. You're also going to want good taps. That one just says heavy duty, I think. It's a US made tap, so if that says anything. US made tap. The first one I broke, I know it may be a Crutchfield. Don't mind my mess. I don't know what it is. It don't say. It was probably a Walmart brand. No telling. Anyway, guys, I may catch some flack for this. Yes, I know there's porosity in it. Who gives a shit? It was probably from the carbon or the oil that I had on my hands, or it's sitting in the toolbox drawer, whatever. You know what? I beat the piss out of it with a hammer and it still holds. Hell, I'll tell you what, I'll put me a bolt in it. Let me get a bolt. Hold on just a second. Alright, let me screw a bolt off in this. I'll do this one-handed. All right, a 3/8 bolt goes 35 to 40 foot-pounds. Okay, I've got 35 on that. I know I do. I can't even break it. Try to break it. Okay, you'll double the wrench up. I did break it. Broke something. Oh, I broke the block. And I was putting way too much torque on it. Okay, now that I've got that apart, I'm going to give you some other ideas. Okay? So, I would even be able to fix this. Not going to. I'm not screwing with it anymore. Some other ideas. So, you broke off. You could literally take and drill and tap, say, a number 6 machine screw into this block. You could put one there, you could put one there, you could put 3 in there, really, if you wanted to, depending on how big your brake is. Put your machine screws in there, and let's say you run them 1/2 inch deep, okay? You can do that on both sides. Now, once you started welding, you cut the machine screws off. Once you start welding, you're actually incorporating that machine screw into your weld puddle. Okay, so what that's doing is giving you your lateral force this way. Okay, I guess it'd be lateral. No, yeah. It would give you, to keep from blowing that bolt hole out like I just did. I was on there with a doubled up wrench. Okay, I probably had 50 or 60 foot-pounds on that. So that would hold it this way. All right. Well, it would hold it all directions, really. What I did is just slotted here and across and used those to weld to and give me some support. You can actually see them. You can see my slot. Right there's where my slot was. Other ideas. Maybe making your bolt out of a copper bar. Like say you got a 7/16 copper, solid copper bar, and you made that copper bar look like this. Okay, I know this ain't 7/16, but it's, you know, it's between 3/8 and 7/16 somewhere. So you turn that copper bar down, give you that shank to go down inside your hole. Okay. And you weld around the copper bar. You could even put weld spatter goop on it. Definitely be worth a shot for me, especially if I had something that I knew was a pain in the butt to find. I've done this on small block Chevy valve cover bolts where they've been broke off, and since it doesn't have this countersink, I just put a 1/4 inch carbon rod in there, weld around it, drill the rod out, run a tap through it. It's fine usually. Again, I usually do it with a buzz box and a nickel rod. Let's see, what else could you do? I mean, a guy could get pretty crazy if you wanted to come over. Let's say you wanted to come over here and drill a small hole here. Say you drilled another 5/16 hole here, and then you took a die grinder and you cut a trough to that. Then you weld it shut, weld through the trough, weld around. Doing it with a transmission on wouldn't be so easy on this side, but you could still do that on that side. Definitely fixable. Also, I didn't preheat this. Again, just doing it for the video. So there's some ideas. I know 6.2 and 6.5 blocks are not, you know, easy to come by, especially a good block. The guy on the 8.1 page that had the busted block, I wouldn't want to tear an 8.1 down and try to find a block and do all that stuff. I wouldn't want to do it on about any engine, you know. Even if this was a good running 305, I would probably repair the damn thing and ship it. I mean, I would probably do that, even on an old junk 305. So, it's ideas. Some people are going to say no, but you just seen the damage I was putting on that. I was putting some hell, like I said, I bent the bolt. I was putting some force on that, trying to knock it off, and of course, as normal, it didn't break at the weld. It broke the cast. That's just because I didn't heat, and I didn't preheat, and I didn't this, that, whatever. I didn't use nickel rod. There's all kinds of things that you could do to mitigate that. Again, drilling and putting number 6 machine screws in there would help with pulls in all directions to make that bolt hole hold. And then make sure you put starter bracket on, because you know that bolt hole's been fixed. So anyway, there's my ideas, there's my video. Anyway, there you go.